guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It is your host, Makaela or Kay, and you are watching The Chocolate Box. So come and step inside of it while we talk about mental health.
For me, when I think of mental health, kind of just like where you are, like within yourself, like the status in which you are within yourself, regardless of whether that's good or bad, or just somewhere in the middle. And it's kind of like regardless of whether you understand where you are, or because you don't always understand where you are mentally, but kind of just like where you are is your mental health. That's kind of what I think of for.
No, that is extraordinary because when you think about us actually having it, gaining knowledge about mental health, we first have to try to grasp what mental health is within itself. Anyone else?
Yeah, I think next, because that was a great description, is accepting what you've learned and what you're trying to understand, and being okay with not being okay. That's part of that journey.
It is. It's a big step to like accept not being okay. I think that in the community as a whole, we kind of have this complex where we try to portray that everything is perfect and everything is great. So a lot of times we sit and we go through a lot of things and we hold it in and we never express what's going on at all. I've had like a lowest point, and I can definitely say my lowest was like in high school, like my junior year. Everybody else was thriving, and I felt like, oh my gosh, like nothing is going right. Nothing is going right. And I would cry, and then I would get up and I'd be like, okay, I'm this happy person, and spew out energy. And like my energy to my friends, they'll still tell you today I'm the best hype woman on earth. But on the inside, I was sitting there like, I can't do this. I can't really continue to go. So if anybody else wants to share, like during your low points, how did you realize and pinpoint, hey, this is what's going on. I kind of have to pull myself out.
Honestly, I think sophomore year at Mason was like new critical low. Um, that was a tough time. I was in a toxic relationship, also crossing for Sigma, and I had a lot going on with work-related issues, trying to pay for school out of pocket, being a Gen 1, so it was a lot. Like, there's no other way around it. And I realized I was at a big low when everybody would, even my line brothers would come to me for questions as we're trying to get through and everything. And then some of my other friends and family members asking for help. And I was like, I can't provide all the answers, even though I'm usually high energy to help you find resources. Like I had told them, it's like, look, I don't know. We'll try to figure it out, try to keep pushing. But if I can't even find the resources for myself, I couldn't really help other people. And trying to get out of that, I had to speak out. Honestly, I mean, a closed mouth doesn't get fed, and that really is like a big thing, especially with mental health. If you don't speak up and speak out, you will not get any help. Period. It's just how it goes. And I think people have to identify if you're an empath or not. Because if you're a feeler and a people person, always trying to help other people, whether you're fixing them or not, then you need to find your own support system. And people don't realize how important that is until way later. And I think that's a growing part of life. Like people will always have different faces in their support system, support group, depending on what phase you are in your life, which is okay. Not all your day ones are gonna be your day ones. You might find a day 56, like out of nowhere, and they replace that day one real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I had to start telling myself, especially during that time, even when I had like newer battles that were coming up years later, that it's my imperfections that make me perfect. Just knowing that, yeah, I'm a regular, I'm unique, I'm different, and telling that to other people. Because I mean, once you put that out, you get that energy back. That's how you kind of like find your tribe and stuff. So yeah.
Um, I felt like the biggest problem with my mental health journey was that I was very scared that they were going to put me on medication. And mentally, I didn't ask for help because I was like, if I ask for help and then they send me home with 12 antidepressants, what am I going to do? Like, what are people going to think? And it really scared me, y'all. Like, it was extremely scary. Does anybody else like have those feelings of like fear at all?
Um, yeah, cause I've been dealing with like mental health issues since like fifth grade. Like it's been a while. And then finally my senior year of high school, I was like, okay, like this is too much. Like I can't do it. I had like kind of what could consider like a breakdown. And like I got a whole bunch of like diagnoses and I was put on medication. And I remember I was talking to a family member and they were like, do you really want to be known as like the crazy girl? And like for a second I was like, do I? Like is that, but honestly like I kind of just like I don't want to be the crazy girl. So I prefer to, medication is sometimes necessary. And so I kind of came to the like point where I was no longer afraid of it because it was just, I might not be on for the rest of my life, but like in this moment I need it. And I came to terms with it.
Mm-hmm.
I think piggyback off that, because that's real. That's really valid. I think in my experience, even with CAPS at George Mason University, when I used to go there, I often got the feedback of people being very concerned of my upbringing and like what I've already like overcame in my journey and my story, to the point that they want you to go seek deeper help for issues as opposed to just talking things out, right, and just helping come up with a plan. I think that a lot of people label it as a professional in anything with psych evaluations or dealing in psych, don't really broaden their horizons, their scope enough to understand different viewpoints and different perspectives from people. So for me, I often will get concerned of saying, okay, if I actually do want to speak to somebody who's supposed to have these health and wellness resources for me to utilize, are they going to try to admit me to awards or something just because I'm talking so bluntly as a Afro Latinx male? That's how I identify myself, because I can't just say, oh yeah, I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and then before that, the slums of Dominican Republic. Like it's casual because people don't understand that lifestyle and all that, even that immigration process, which is a whole nother thing to unpack. When trying to help you, they think, yeah, send them there, give them this prescription, and that'll help them, but it doesn't really help them, kind of thing. So, yeah, that's usually my stigma about that, until you find people that can understand your story, kind of thing.
Yeah. Ada, I know you had something to add to the conversation. Go ahead, love.
Um, I kind of remember like earlier, Rashid had said something about like how like closed mouths don't get fed, and you kind of have to like speak up. And I really feel like it's really hard for you to speak up, especially like especially like for me, like growing up, I kind of was like abused in my household and stuff like that. And then coming on to George Mason and dealing with all the problems I had here at George Mason, like speaking problems and like financial problems and just like all this other stuff going on. When I kind of like had to break down myself and then needed to seek help, and then like had a whole situation where like the like campus police was called because they thought like I was gonna do something to myself, and that wasn't even the case or whatever. I ended up having to be in a situation where when I had to explain to my parents like, hey, I'm having this stuff going on and you aren't making it easier for me, especially because you're my abusers. It was a lot of like, oh, don't tell people what's going on in your life. The only reason you even have to deal with this is because you're opening your mouth about it. It was a lot of just people basically telling me to like shut my mouth and not say anything. And it's kind of to the point where you kind of feel like that's the right steps to take until you realize like if I continue to keep my mouth shut, this can only get worse. It can't get any better. So that's a
big fact.
That is something that like I can literally like identify with the fact that like a lot of people seek the police instead of professionals that handle situations. And a lot of times, like I've been, I don't want this to be about like Mason's caps, but when I first approached therapy, I walked in there and it was a lot of white people, and it's for me. I feel like I want to talk to somebody who looks like me. It's kind of like the thought process that they use when they say a little black girl sees another little black girl on TV and she thinks that she can be on TV as well. Um, that's how my mind works. Like, there's no way that a straight white man can help me with my issues. And like mentally, that was all I saw in the therapy field, and it kind of made it seem like, all right, okay. And then you have, if you do say, well, I feel depressed, and you're a college student, their immediate response is to call the police. And as black people, mental health is something that we approach cautiously, but the police, that's a whole different factor that just makes you want to shut down, because you're not sending a therapist to my door. You're not sending somebody that'll understand me to my door. You're sending an officer to me. And just, I can't fathom the way that we choose to treat people with mental illnesses, especially like black people with mental illnesses. Mope, go ahead, because I know you. Go ahead, boo. Go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of just want to piggyback off of that because I've lived here in New York for 3 years. I actually disowned my family. That's why I'm actually here, because of my entire childhood. I was abused for 20 years and I'm 25. Just like dealing with like a lot of like mental and sexual abuse. But and that's a conversation that I feel like needs to happen like within black communities too. It's like, no, like that needs to be talked about, you know. And when we talk about it, it's, we shouldn't sugarcoat it. It's something that needs to be addressed so that person can leave that house, or so that you can leave that house, you know. So when it comes to us getting help, it's like, yeah, someone needs to look like me. Yeah, because I'm dealing with something and it's happening within my own community. You know, it makes no sense to seek a therapist that's white, knowing damn well that it's someone in your family that's abusing you. They're not going to understand that, because that's part of, that's something that they do. You know, like they don't like talking to each other and stuff like that. But when it comes to us as indigenous bodies, as black and brown bodies, it's important for us to communicate, because that was our education pre-colonial time. If we didn't have computers and social media, no, our grandmothers, our fathers, our parents are literally telling us, this is our culture, this is how we do things. And that's how we spread stories and cultures and stuff like that. Now today, it needs to be the same thing. You're going through something, you have depression, you have anxiety, we need to talk to each other. We need to be each other's healers if we have the mental capacity to do so. You know, because you can't just talk to someone that has PTSD and think that they have the mental capacity to like heal your triggers. You know, because I have PTSD, complex PTSD. You know, and I've been into mental health since 17. I love mental health because I had to educate myself to get outside of my abuse. I want everybody to understand this. Mm-hmm. You know, like, yeah, the reason why you feel this way is because something happened to you. You know, like, but at the same time, it's like, if so much is good trauma, then I could have the capacity to abuse you. That's, you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's always about having the capacity to understand what you've been through, to heal yourself and hold space for yourself and for your friends and family members and everybody else around you. You know, so that's what I want to say.
That right there. Go ahead, Maya, because I know I saw you raise your hand, but that right there, that hit the what do they say in olden days? That hit the nail
on the
The
head.
in head,
Yeah,
yeah.
y'all know what I'm saying. That's what it did.
Yes.
Go ahead, Maya.
Well, I was just gonna say, talking is just as important as listening. Like, we have to also learn how to divulge. Like, does this person want my opinion, or do they just want to be heard? Because sometimes, and I know, like, I do it personally. I tend to say what I would do in a situation when somebody comes to me, like, "Yo, I'm dealing with this." I'll be like, "Well," and I would give them what my first thought would be, and I'm like, I have to like check myself, like, maybe they don't want that. Maybe they just want to talk about like what they're going through, because sometimes that's all you need is to just talk about it. Because ironically, like, that's how I work. Like, when something upsets me, I'll call one of my friends and scream, and then like hang up the phone, and I'm over it. But I still catch myself like trying to just advise people without them asking me if that's what they wanted.
Yo, that okay. So, quick little short story. Me and Rashid have a great friendship, I would say. And the first time I genuinely opened up about my emotions was to Rashid, and like Maya said, it was in a fit of rage. It was in a fit of, I can't do this anymore. I don't like college. I don't like the people here. I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not like, he's laughing right now, but like that moment was so crucial because mentally I was like, Rashid, I feel like I have to save face. I have to be perfect every single day. I'm breaking and nobody's seeing this. And Rashid's response was, so. And it was so calm. And mentally I was like, did this man just hear me? For you to respond with a so and then give me advice. Did you hear me? I'm hyped up. And just having like that calm factor kind of just like brought me back down from like this big explosion to, all right, Rashida's taking in everything that you said. I'm about to give you advice, and you can't be angry listening to the advice. You can't be misunderstanding listening to the advice. So like just having that friend who is going to bring you back down with that. So now that we've gotten that out, like now that we've discussed this, here's what I need you to do. And just having that person, kind of helped me a little bit. Go ahead, Rashid.
I think when it comes to being an active listener and an active giver, right? That's the term word I call it. It's disclaimers are really important for everybody. It's okay to ask, hey, do you need me to listen to you right now before you proceed, or do I need to be prepared to give you advice? Makaela knows I will ask her that like half the time we talk because I need to
In a
know which wave I
heartbeat.
need to be on, just so I can
Sounds
be like,
like
all right.
you.
And then as I like to call it, the active venter. Yeah, the active venture. Before you start venting, ask, hey, are you at the mental capacity or emotional
Mm-hmm.
capacity for me to vent right now, please? So I know, because that's important. Yeah, because I'm cool. I'm laid back and chilling. But as a person who's always empathetic to everybody else's needs, your energy starts to come into my energy. And I'm like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
I need to protect that energy real quick, kind of thing. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much that. Ask those active questions and open-ended questions so that y'all can figure out how to talk amongst yourselves, your support groups. Identifying those things are really important. And I'm trying to hurry up so we got other people who can talk just in case. So yeah.
I'm very avid on check on the people that you feel are strong, cause I know everybody will hit that check on your strong friend, but a lot of people don't do that. Like I know that I've been said in a lot of friend groups, like, Makaela, you're the strong friend. Like you get emotional here and there, but you're very strong. You're extremely strong. But I want whoever's listening to this, if you're the strong friend, it's okay to take a break from being strong. It's okay to step away. It's okay to sit there. And if you want to sit down and you want to let that one little thug tear just fall from your eye, it is okay to let that happen. It's okay to be vulnerable in that moment because
Yeah.
a lot of the strong friends, we're suffering, but we want to support our friends so much that we neglect our mental health. And I feel like that's a lot of times with like some Black mothers. I know my mom, she supports so many people, but she neglects herself. And like that's one of those things that like I feel like it was passed down to me. Y'all know, like my mom and my daddy made a beautiful child, but I got some of the little tidbits, like being there for people even when I know I can't be there for people mentally.
Mhm.
I've played that role so many times, and I think that it's very important to step away. Yeah.
You got to develop a cleanse. And what I mean by a cleanse is block your friends for a week every month.
For a week every month. Y'all, it's kind of hard because I be feeling people.
I mean, sometimes I got to get over it because, I like attention too, but I be tired.
And
You
it's okay to
know,
go on a hiatus. Take your hiatus.
Mhm.
I'm the
Yeah.
queen of hiatuses, y'all. Like for 3 days.
Mhm.
Ask anybody about them 3 days. 3 days. If me and you, we don't even really have to fall out. We could
Mhm.
just spend so much time together, and I'll be like, all right, I got a lot of you, and I need to figure out me. So I'm gonna take 3 days, and then I'm gonna call you. And I like with a lot of my friends, I'll call you and be like, "Hey girl, how you doing?" After those 3 days, and a lot of my friends be like, "So you just gonna go on a hiatus and expect me not to notice?" And mentally, I have to like explain, "Okay, y'all, I
Nah, you go
wasn't."
ghost, then you come back. You even call it a hiatus. You do a smooth ghost, like in the middle of a conversation. I'd be like, interesting.
So we're not gonna call out Makaela this episode,
What
but
you so?
it's a lot of it's sometimes you have to step away. Like I'm one of those people who I struggled with stepping away. Like still to this day, I struggle with just being like, hey, I can't. And one person that like I can honestly say has helped me with not carrying the burden of other people is this beautiful soul named Melvin Richardson. I don't know if he's gonna watch this episode, but he
He's
entered my life my my second semester freshman year and told me, Makaela, it's okay. It's okay. And like in that moment, I don't think he realized that the it's okay meant way more to me than, and we were literally like running my dramatic interpretation piece. And all he told me was, it's okay. And mentally, my brain just, that one moment changed how I viewed, because I was walking around with the weight of the entire world on me. Because I had to be good for my family, I had to be good for my friends, I had to be good for my team. And just that moment just let me know, like, it's okay. You good. Like, and I don't know if anybody else has had those moments of like, I'm okay. Like, has anybody else, like, I know I can't be the only person that they had that one moment, whether it's been in a Starbucks line or not, where you just look at yourself and be like, it's okay.
I have them when I'm driving.
Not driving, Maya.
Like
Yeah,
when I'm
no, for real.
yes, when I'm driving, like when I'm driving and it's like a calm regular night and like nobody's on the road and it's just me and I'm like just listening to the music. I'm like, yo, everything is okay. I'll like freak out a little bit and like just like belt one out, start crying throughout the song and stuff. But like once I have that moment, I'm like, I just cried, but it's gonna be all right.
Everything's gonna have like a
So I
Facts.
guess
motivation. Like
yeah.
every single time. Like I can like I would really like have a motivation for like 30 minutes and I'd be like, yeah, fuck this, fuck that, and then like after that I'm like, I am okay. I feel so good, like, cause it's releasing, like I feel like after you release, like all you can say is like, yo, I'm good,
Mhm.
cause you're getting all that out. So,
It
Yep.
just, to to me, right, it's very beautiful how, like, and I'm always say that the black community is that community. Like we are that. We are that in a bag of chips because we always, and this is a trait that like I've seen for the longest. We always have this face where it's like we're not going to let everything going on around us tear us. Like we're not gonna sit here and be like, yes, I had a breakdown this morning and I got locked out of my car and I can't find my phone, and we're not just gonna walk around the entire day feeling that way. Like I don't know if anybody else has like had a bad day and you everything just seemed to go wrong on that one day, and mentally like you'll be like, but I can't just let everybody like I'm not going to portray, like I'm not gonna project everything that I feel to the world. Like I'm regardless of I've something that my grandmother told me that she said, I think my great grandmother told her, is that you put on some red lipstick and you put on a smile and you keep going. And I think that that's like the beauty of the black community is that we keep going. Like it gets hard. It gets hard. And you want I can't tell you how many times I wanted to just break down and be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then I give me some braiding hair and I do my hair and I'm like, we gonna keep it going. We gonna keep it going. Um that's just it's beautiful to me.
I feel like art is really part of our culture. Because no matter what we do, like whether if it's like braiding our hair, doing our makeup, like styling ourselves, like that that was it makes us it makes us feel so like out of this world, like on a physical in a physical way. Like we're playing with our physical selves, but it's not to yeah, it is look good. Yeah, but at the same time, it's also to feel good as well. Because it's like we're so used to trauma. Like it's really part of our DNA at this point. Unfortunately. But fortunately, as Black and Brown and Indigenous bodies, like no matter what culture you come from, like art is just part of our culture. Like yeah, we would go like as a Nigerian. Like I really love headpieces. Like I just love it. It feels good.
I just and to like to wrap up this entire conversation, I feel like we all need to get out of our heads, and stop being so hard on ourselves. We can always practice affirmations. That's something that like I've learned. Like I used to struggle with like body positivity so much. Like I used to keep in mind like I view myself better now, but back then I thought I was the biggest person in the world. That when I walked in the room, the earth was shaking. Like I thought so poorly of myself. But one thing that like an ex-boyfriend told me was that like if you don't love yourself and if you don't try to better yourself, how how are you expecting other people to pour into you? And like I've just every day I wake up and I'm like, your day is gonna be great. You're beautiful. And like those two things, I didn't realize like mentally how it was affecting me. But those two things like make the worst days seem so much better. So do any of you have any like any ways that you just promote positivity on yourself and like help yourself with your mental health?
Easily. Easily. It's funny that you said that, like your affirmations, right? I literally have that app I am downloaded to my phone so that it sends me positive affirmations. And then on my Instagram accounts, like I have like things that always generate positive affirmations and just positive mindset, so that when I'm scrolling through my feed, amongst everything else that's on there, I get those. So there's just like a constant reminder around me as I do my own personal internal reflections for things that I'm doing, what's coming up, things that are on the horizons, and it's all going to happen. I'm manifesting everything because that's key. But yeah.
Yes. Anybody else? We're gonna go around. We're gonna let everybody answer this question because I feel like everybody has something great to offer to the end of our conversation. Maya, go ahead. I saw your hand.
I get up in the morning and I kind of just imagine myself like where I want to be already, and that just makes me feel much better about the day. Like I can see myself just doing all the things I want to do. So when I get up in the morning and I go do my routine, I'm like, tomorrow this could be me getting dressed for like a big campaign or like a fashion show or something, you know. So I look forward to what could be, and I also understand, or at least I taught myself that like you have to have a few inconveniences like throughout the day to have a good day. Like I before I have some of the best days of my life, like something goes wrong right before I head to whatever. But then like after the moment passes and I like come to understand and just move forward, it goes back to being like the day that I want it to be. So we have to start telling ourselves that everything is gonna be, fine, and it's sometimes just gonna suck. But as long as we have a reason to get up, we should definitely just be grateful to be alive.
Definitely. Go ahead, Anna.
Um, I would say I kind of like I do listen to a lot of music personally. That's something I like to do a lot. A little too much, but it's okay. And I also kind of think to myself, like kind of like what Maya was saying. I'm always seeing myself in like different realities. I'm always seeing myself in just like things I like the places I want to be, like just things I want to do. And even if it's far in the future, I'm still thinking about it right now. And I'm living my life like I'm already there. So that's kind of how I kind of keep myself okay, but kind of thinking about like what I want. And because my sister actually, when like we have a strange little relationship, but she once told me to make like a vision board, and I thought that was kind of like a vision board, like why would I do that? And she kind of was like, like think about the things that you see yourself as, like put the stuff that you want, like anything that you want for yourself, just put it up there, even if it's unrealistic, even if it doesn't exist. Like if you can find a picture of it or write it down, like just do it. And that's kind of like shit like that kind of, you know.
Mm-hmm. Nikki Mope, do y'all have any inspiration that y'all use daily?
I feel like mine's really cheesy. Like my answer's cheesy. But I listen to music like daily. Music's a big part of my life. And then also like I feel it's hard to explain it. Like I'm at home right now. I'm not at school. And so I feel like when I'm at home, I'm so happy cuz home's not great at all. Like but I'm I don't try to like hide anything. Like I'm kind of just the most obnoxious, normal self, and it's just like I just say stuff, and I just feel like being myself makes me the happiest, which is so cheesy, but yeah.
That's cheesy, baby. That's unique.
I just let myself exist.
To do that.
Yeah.
Mope, how do you navigate and inspire?
Well, for me, like I love doing like nightly rituals. Like I'm a green witch. Like I just love magic and potions and stuff. Yeah. But before I go to bed, yeah, like I have like my crystals underneath my pillows, I have my candles, I light my incense. And I do that like nightly so that when I wake up, like I'm waking up feeling refreshed. That's how I like to start my day. It's always about like how I end my night, because yeah,
I just like taking care of myself like in the evening when I come home and I'm like, ah, I had a long day. Like, let me just like rest, you know. And yeah, I make my room so good as hell. Have me a little spa, and yeah, I feel great. Now this is not every day, but this is like maybe like 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah.
You know,
Shout out. Let's
that, yes, shout out to all of those beautiful answers. I hope that everyone who watches this episode feels very rejuvenated and has a moment where they take away something and share something with their family, their friends. And I really hope that this show was a vehicle for you to start the conversation about mental health with your family, with your peers, so that we as a community can grow stronger and better. And as always, thank you for stepping into the chocolate box. Bye, y'all. Bye.
I
Paving this shit crank.